in there. So, you know, it is expected, but you got to shake that tightness off. I mean, we've seen what happens when fighters get too tight in the ring. They tire themselves out. You mentioned the Shane Mosley-Floyd Mayweather fight. Shane Mosley was so tight for that fight that after 4 rounds he was gassed, just because there was so much nervous energy he was blowing off in the ring. There wasn't anything there when the fight really hit its zenith in the middle rounds.
Referee Clancy calling for a time out immediately as the bell for round 3 goes, looking to make sure the corner is dry, all that excess water. Don't want to put the fighters in a perilous situation as we are underway now with the 3rd round from the John Sport Forum in New Brandenburg, Germany. What is the key for the southpaw Ross to try to establish his territory here in this fight?
Well, you know, there's always that notion amongst old-timers that when you're facing a southpaw, always make sure that your lead foot is inside of your opponent, on the outside of your opponent, so that if you're facing an orthodox fighter as a southpaw, they don't have that straight path from the chin with that right hand. So that's always a key. Mind your footwork, and we see Ross circling to his left, circling, making sure that he isn't standing still and giving Cunningham a chance to get off a right hand. That might make a difference.
Cunningham with that probing jab. Ross coming forward in short spurts, not really gauging that distance. And again, he really has to solve those, 747 wingspan of Steve USS Cunningham.
But right now, though, Cunningham just kind of plodding around the ring, kind of following Troy Ross. He's not really using that jab. Neither guy pressing the pace right now. But if you're the tall guy and you've got that reach advantage, and you're just standing flat-footed in the ring or not throwing much, in my mind, you're not utilizing the tools that you have to succeed in there.
This was being billed as one of the most exciting cruiserweight matchups in recent memory. Are you surprised at all at the start of this fight, or are you content to, allow these guys to feel each other out here in the early rounds?
I'll give them 3-4 rounds to get their feet under them. After that, you tend to think maybe the moment's getting the better of them. But right now, I think they're just getting their footing, feeling each other out. For Troy Ross, this is the biggest moment of his career, so if butterflies are there, I understand, but time to get rid of them.
And Ross trying to lunge underneath, and again in the clinch. Quick exchanges, Clancy instructing them not to punch on the break.
I am surprised Troy isn't being a little more aggressive. When we see him succeed, there's a recklessness about him, a measured recklessness, where his physical tools, wow, right there, good, straight left hand by Troy Ross. But there's a recklessness to him that's measured, so his physical skills come out. And right now, he's kind of has the pause button on.
Yeah.
He's not letting those hands go the way he needs to let them go.
And in the final 35 seconds, I agree with you. Cunningham has to do a better job of cutting off the ring. You're right. He is just following Ross around, now has him in the corner. But again, we get into these ugly exchanges.
And this is Ross's fight on the inside. Those ugly exchanges are the exchanges Ross is tailor-made to win. Cunningham has to be pretty on the outside. He has to be a little gritty. He caught Ross coming in there with the right hand. It's the first time we've seen that out of him. But he's got to use his skills, and Ross has got to use his. And right now, I think it's a case of Troy Ross making an ugly fight that much uglier for him. And in my mind, doing what he needs to do early on.
3 rounds are complete here in Germany for the vacant IBF Cruiserweight Championship. Steve USS Cunningham against Troy the Boss Ross. How do you score it after 3, unofficial judge?
It's tight. I have it 2-1 for Troy Ross. If you want to go 2-1 for Cunningham, believe me, you're not going to get an argument out of me right now. These are close rounds. Neither guy stepping up to own them in an emphatic way. So if you're a judge, these are 3 tough rounds to score.
Stay smart. Okay? Keep that plan going, baby. Steve, the jab is gonna get there, baby. You ain't gotta reach. Yeah. Just sit and take a quick step with it. All right? And use your feint. Now keep touching that eye. I need you to touch that eye. Yeah. 2-3 times around. All right? Keep touching. When you're in there, keep touching that eye. That thing closed already. Yeah. Referee gotta do something about that, man. Keep counting rounds for me, man.
Yeah, very impressed with brother Nazim Richardson's cadence. Very measured. No,
there's a reason why outside of Freddie Roach that he's one of the hottest trainers in the sport right now. He's just a guy you listen to. You want to listen to him.
And again, he's saying stay smart. The jab is going to get there. He talked about targeting the eye.
Clearly, they've seen something. maybe a tendency to puff on the part of Ross or to cut, but the eye obviously refers to one of the eyes. And to use it as a target and to throw that jab in a good right hand by Steve Cunningham right there. And another one as well.
And again now, it's Cunningham unleashing scoring blows, and Ross again circling away, stepping away from the range. Again, a 9-inch reach advantage for USS Cunningham.
And more, you know, in the early stages of every round, you can really see what a trainer has told a fighter, because that's when he still remembers the instructions. A minute in, a minute and a half in, that's when instinct takes over. But right now, we're seeing a busier Steve Cunningham, a guy who clearly still has the words of Machine Richardson ringing in his ear.
Oh, wow! Ross drops Cunningham with a straight left hand.
On the button. On the button, Moore. That was textbook. There was no wagginess to that shot at all. That was straight, strong, and true. Right on the chin.
Troy the Boss Ross drawing first blood with the 4th round knockdown of the former IBF Cruiserweight champion.
And Ross may have gotten a thumb in the eye. He reacted kind of funny there after taking a shot from Cunningham.
And
right
instincts are taking over for Cunningham now, as he knows this round is now Troy Ross's.
And
surprised by that?
Oh, absolutely. But that knockdown was just a byproduct of Steve Cunningham standing still and letting Ross take the fight to him. And he just got caught watching a left just explode on his chin.
Beautifully delivered. Straight left hand from Troy Ross, knocking down Steve Cunningham here in round 4. The first knockdown of the fight. And again, measuring him up, doing a good job with the jab, and now it seems that Troy Ross is gaining some confidence.
And that left is beginning to find a familiar home on Cunningham, and now it's Steve Cunningham who's not necessarily reacting in the textbook manner to being punched. He's showing the judges, you know what, these shots are affecting me.
You talk about the old school mentality about facing a southpaw fighter. Is there some kind of a mental roadblock, or when you take on someone who's a lefty? I mean, nowadays you face enough.
Maybe you start overthinking more. Maybe you start overthinking about, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to do, and then all of a sudden the fight gets away from you, and you get away from what you do best in the ring. But Steve Cunningham has been around the block, and facing a lefty like Troy Ross, he's not a complicated lefty. He's still right in front of you. He just reads with a different hand.
The 4th round highlighted by the knockdown. Straight left hand by Troy the Boss Ross, and Jason right on the button, as you said.
Right on the button, just like a laser, planted him right on the caboose. And you see Steve Cunningham looking to the corner saying, what was that? But he bounced back up. He seemed to have his legs about him. So I don't want to call it, wasn't exactly a flash knockdown, because that was a big shot. But you can see Cunningham
more frustrated and upset with himself maybe than hurt.
Maybe so, but that was a good shot.
It was a great punch, for sure.
That was a great shot.
But I think it irritated him more than it hurt him, like you say.
And it's funny, Mauro, when you see the shot again, Steve Cunningham is very squared up all of a sudden.
Yes.
You know, when you're squared up, a shot like that is going to plant you on your back. And it might not be the most concussive thing, but you need to have your legs spread apart and have a good anchor underneath you. And Steve Cunningham, his footwork just isn't what it should be this fight.
And in keeping with your line of thought, Nazim Richardson giving them those instructions. Step up, step over. So the footwork becoming a factor here as we go to round 5.
It's very bad. It's very bad.
Oh, medical.
The eye.
Stop it. I have to. It's that bad, Troy. Seriously, I'm not bullshitting. Yes, I'm very serious.
Fuck, man.
Fight's over.
What?
But you know what?
Unbelievable.
It's very fucking bad. Believe me, I'd let you fight if I could, but I'm not going to risk your vision.
Well, referee William Clancy making his comments felt and known, but Jason, coming off a round in which he knocked down the former champion, the fight is now stopped because of what they say is a very bad injury to his left eye.
And we just heard Bill Clancy say it was caused by a punch, so he's going to lose by TKO. What a heartbreak for Troy Ross.
And there we hear again, the punch caused the cut. Steve USS Cunningham dodging perhaps a bullet here in Germany.
Oh, yeah, he dodged a huge shell. That wasn't just a a small bullet. And that
that's
looked like
the
a
punch?
thumb. Yeah, that looked like a thumb,
Yes.
Laura, and you see the reaction there. And yes, it was a punch, but that was a thumb that caused that cut.